Hello everybody, and welcome to the 8th and final round of the Vtracc challenge powered by tracc.eu. I'm your host, Ruby Acosta. I am joined alongside Ivano EAP for this final round at Spa-Francorchamps here in the Belgian forest. As you can see on your screen at the moment, you have the picturesque, very photogenic Big Rouge and Radion corners just in front of you. This is the corner that these VTubers will have to face time and time again throughout the qualifying and race sessions. A very long track, almost 7 kilometers, and actually just about 7 kilometers in length. Very tricky circuit here for, I believe, just about 16 VTubers here to tackle. Some notable stories to sort of go over. Lucas Lichten, the pretty much champion of the series and team champion under Team Iris, is not present, so even though the drivers here will not be able to actually go for the overall title, it seems that there's still at least a bit of debate as to who will win today's race. There's no sort of certainty for that for sure, although there really wasn't any certainty last round, with Lucas Lichten not taking the win last time around. So as we go follow somebody before the qualifying session here today, we'll take a look at Vtracc here in the number 13 Mirai United VTuber Racing Team 720S in the number 13 car. Sixteen drivers about to get underway here in qualifying. Only a minute to go in free practice. So at the moment, Amelia Anderson makes her return to the Vtracc challenge with a 119.265. However, the track conditions will definitely be improving, and we'll definitely might see a 218 on the cars sometime today. Palukai follows just behind in the number 43 in that beautiful tribute livery. Ken Block, paying tribute to the late Ken Block. Vtracc, as we've seen again, in the 3rd spot. Ryoma Kirihara in 4th. Psycho Kaiser in 5th. And Jordan Bunch in 6th and then 15th grand. So as they get set for the qualifying session, we do have a few things to talk about within the field. We have Key Zeta back in the grid as well. Eric Gregus in the number 2 Bentley, switching from the Bentley, and Aether Yuki as well making their return to the series. Take a look at Gregus in that beautiful Bentley. So before we get underway here for qualifying, let's look at the standings for this round. As we see after the Italian V-Prix, we have Team Iris, the definite team leaders, team champions, with 173 points, just way ahead of Mirai United VTuber Racing Team, the Elder Squad of Vtracc and Blanc Ryuzaki. They have 95. However, I believe they are not too safe yet from the Technoburst Racing Team in 3rd place with 79 points, but they are not safe either from their 3rd spot, with Yukai Racing only with 74 just behind, and the 2nd Mirai United VTuber Racing Team with 70 points. Both of those drivers there today, Emily Anderson and Akiko Suzukawa, so it will be interesting to see how the points will change after today's race. Yandere Racing in 6th, Art Gas Racing Team in 7th, Grip Runners in 8th, Kate Racing Team in 9th, THFO, Milko Racing have not scored a single point this season so far. So now we will get set for the qualifying session. Just waiting for all the drivers to complete their qualifying, their final practice laps. So 16 cars here today, probably the biggest grid since I believe one of the early rounds. One of those rounds.
Yeah, I believe it was Watkins Glen, or I don't remember which round it was, but I think the previous biggest round this season was 15 cars. So it's nice to see 16 this time around.
So this is probably the biggest grid, and we have one more as somebody else has joined. I cannot tell who it is. I believe it's iMetric Zanes.
Yes, Mentrix just joined. As we now head into qualifying.
So here we go. All the cars are pulling out into the racing track. I was telling into the pits, but this time it's into the racing track. So we have Aether Yuki coming out, as well as I saw Reisco Kyoso and a few other McLarens. The McLarens are sort of blended in. There's just so many of them.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive how fast these things are. Just on every track that this car is raced on, it's been either one of the fastest or the fastest car on the grid. So let's see how well it's gonna do. It's gonna be going around Spa.
As we see Aether Yuki once again just going around the lap on their out lap. We'll take a look at Reisco Kyoso, I believe. Oh no, Reisco Kyoso actually a little bit behind Aether Yuki. Let's check the map real quick. It looks like Aether Yuki is going to be the first car on the track, so we'll take a look at them for a moment. Aether Yuki making a return, not really been a common entry in the Vtracc challenge this season. However, it looks like they are making a return, as I said before, and hopefully for next season they'll be a more they've been a more usual sight in the grid. But I'm glad to see them here.
Well, with the plan changes that are going to be happening next season, I'm sure it's going to be bringing in a lot more drivers. I'm going to be excited to see how big of a grid we get going into the official season 1 of Vtracc Challenge.
There we go. Exiting, I believe this is. I can't remember this this corner name. I'm getting all my corner names mixed up, but this is the pretty high speed part of the track coming into the bus stop chicane. Not really a bus stop anymore. It used to be a sort of bus stop before the reconfiguration. However, now it's just a regular uphill chicane, as you see Jordan Brunch also in the background there in that Ueno Clinic inspired 720S black livery, as Aether Yuki begins their lap. Take a look coming here into La Source. Very sharp right-hander, probably one of the slowest corners on the racetrack. If it would be the slowest if not for that chicane just before when you sort of finish the lap. Now into one of the faster parts of the track, the most iconic part of this circuit, Air Rouge into Radion. Radion to top of the hill. Looks like Aether Yuki actually lost a lot of speed there. Of course, sort of understeering up into Radion.
He kind of missed the apex going out of the apex of Eau Rouge, so that's probably why he had to slow down a little bit to not get an off track there.
Now into Lake Holmes here. It looks like Aether Yuki does go a little bit wide. That might have invalidated his lap time. And it looks like he got Jordan Bunch just stuck behind him. So Jordan Bunch probably not going to appreciate that, as Aether Yuki sort of realizes that now and lets Jordan by. But that's not going to help either of their lap times.
Here comes the one weakness that we've actually been able to find out about the 720 Evo is that it's got a very snappy tail if you're not careful with how you're driving it. Especially around these more mid to low speed corners where you'll actually kick the rear out, but it can't. But other than that, it's mostly a pretty stable car.
Taking a look at Jordan Brunch now for Team Brunch in the number 15 car. Jordan Brunch has been a little bit unlucky throughout the last few rounds, however, we'll see if he's able to turn his luck around this time around as he gets past Aether Yuki. However, probably lost a lot of time behind that car, and also because of the little mess that Aether Yuki had trying to gather the rear end of that 720S around. So coming into the final parts of the track, coming up into the chicane just in a moment, we'll see what the times are for Jordan and Aether Yuki. Just behind these two cars, I believe, is Reisco Kyoso, and we'll see if Reisco Kyoso has a good lap going here. Looks like every car is out on track except for Ryoma Tatsuyama. Ryoma Tatsuyama probably has a little bit of a setup to do, so we'll probably be on the track sometime soon. That's a 2:19.670 for Jordan Brunch, and Aether Yuki lost a lot of time with that little mistake there. We'll see if Reisco Kyoso puts down. It's going to be a 2:17.8687, so already down into the 2:17s from the practice session. Definitely the track conditions suiting these drivers a lot more as Emilia Anderson just goes second, slots in right behind with the 2:18.257. So Reisca Kyoso definitely a very strong contender here. Take a look at Polukai real quick.
Polukai, as you said before, running the tribute livery for Ken Block. In the, I believe the brand is called Just Ain't Care. I think those are the colors of the brand.
Well, it's a Hoonigan brand, actually.
Yeah, it is a Hoonigan brand, but like, I mean, talking about like the pink, blue aesthetic comes from like a separate brand that was like partnered with Ken Block before his passing.
I'm not really sure, actually. But either
Yeah,
way...
it's been a while. Either way, very nice looking tribute livery.
As Polukai puts themselves third on the board with a, need to check real quick. 2:18.315, so at the moment, Reisca Kyoso is the only driver in the 2:17s at the moment. We'll take a look at Amethyst at VTuber in the 2:96 for Yandere Racing. Coming up to the chicane now. Hard braking there from such a high speed part of the track into probably the slowest part of the track. Very hard to sort of outdo yourself in the braking. Amethyst VTuber does a 121.710, so a good lap so far. I'll take a look at anybody else who is improving. It looks like Jordan Brunch is improving quite a bit, up to about 2.5 tenths, as is Aether Yuki actually. But Aether Yuki did have that mistake coming into Lake Holmes, so the big improvement was probably coming regardless.
As we go around the bus stop with Jordan Brunch. Surprised that the McLarens are actually this far up, considering this is mostly a track that's favored by the 296 more.
Looks like Reisca Kyoso wasn't able to improve his lap, but Jordan Brunch was. Jordan Brunch goes... Actually, it looks like Akito Suzugawa goes second with a 2:17.980. Need to interrupt my own train of thought there. So Akito Suzugawa already continuing on his blazing form here. He goes a little bit too wide into the source, but we'll see what else he does here, as we'll follow him for just this other lap. We'll take a look at the rest of the grid as their times come in. Looks like at the moment, no real big improvements. Moritsukup has a 2:21.142. Blanc Ryuzaki the 2:21.415. Aether Yuki is a 2:21.820. Isaac Umbers a 2:22.970. So at the moment, the rest of the field does not have a lap time in yet. They probably will be having their lap times in soon, however.
As we continue our lap, as Akira Suzukawa goes out of Mamadi as Aki had a pretty dominant Italian V-Prix last round, leading from pole to flag to his first victory in tracc.eu in a long time. So it's nice to see that his momentum is being carried on, and he's still very fast and competitive today. So let's see, can he get a 2 in a row, you think?
Most likely. Looks like with Lucas Lichten out of contention right now because he actually has another obligation with another team. Well, probably the same team, but in another race. It looks like this race is like wide open, so it'll be interesting to see. We definitely have a few contenders for the win. I mean, we do have Emilia Anderson also in the mix as well, and we know Emilia was really dominant last season.
Emilia, I believe Emilia's first race was at Spa a few seasons ago, and I was also commentating that race. And it was a blast. Is just casting and watching Emilia go from the back of the field to the front. I don't remember if they won that race or not, but they were flying. It was incredible to watch all the overtakes that Emilia was doing. So this is a very favorable track for the VTuber.
Akito Suzugawa not able to improve on that lap time. He did a 2:18.207 that time round. So maybe had a few little errors in a few different corners. It could really add up, but he's going to go for another lap here, and this might be the fastest of his laps this run. once the fuel starts going down and the tires start to really get up to pressure, really get up to temperatures, everything starts to settle in, you really get into that sort of you really get into that sort of phase where the car just goes a lot faster and you're really able to sort of break the barriers now. Probably, I'd say the low 217s, maybe not too unreasonable to think about 216, as actually Akito makes a little mistake there entering at Lacombe, so that might be not enough to improve on his current lap time, as we'll check here. Yeah, he's down a 10th right now, though he is improving here.
Yeah, the size of Spa is long enough that a lot of mistakes can happen, but that does go the other way around sometimes, where a lot of improvements can also happen as they add up. So if Aki can put in a good second half onto this lap, he could still improve and maybe get pole from Reska.
However, the difference I feel like is going to be if you can perform on all parts of the track, especially with it being such a long track, you can definitely gain a whole lot of time if you're perfect all the way through. However, as we've seen from multiple drivers, it is really hard to get a consistent rhythm here. Even for a track that is well known as Spa, it is still a really challenging circuit, as Akito Suzugawa is a bit far off of his best time right now, so 4/10 off. 4.5 tenths off, I want to say, so not much improvement going to be going on there. Meanwhile, another driver who has improved their lap time is Amethysta. Amethysta has posted a 2:20.867, so that puts them in 7th ahead of Blanc Ryuzaki. A few other drivers still not yet to sort of make their qualifying lap. Ryoma Kirihara, Saiko Kaiza, Cody Lionheart, Ryuma Tatsuyama, Imetric Zanes, and Ki Zeta. Not sure if they just are sort of struggling to put in a valid lap at the moment. We'll take a look at Isaac Umbers real quick.
Isaac Umbers in the old Mercedes. I believe this is going to be his final race in that old Merc. I
believe that was Ryuma. That was Yama, yeah. Ryuma Tatsuyama went off there.
I'm going a bit wide at Blanchimon, yeah, but no, really, like, nothing to be really said there. It's very easy to overshoot that corner. It's a very precise line through there to get it flat out.
Looks like they did really sort of mess up Isaac's sort of flow there, so that's a 2:24.162, so about 1.5 seconds off of their best, so definitely not going to be improving on that lap. Let's take a look at the rest of the grid. Let's take a look at the only Bentley in the field, Eric Gregus in the U-Kai Racing number 2, should be number 100, but, you know. Let's just say number 100, U-Kai Racing Bentley.
Otherwise known as the Big Ben.
Big Ben, I believe that was a whole story made by Palu Kai when Palu Kai found a abandoned little Continental GT3 Hot Wheels in the parking lot of wherever they were.
Is that the story behind this whole car change?
Yeah, actually, I believe, he did find a little Hot Wheels of a Bentley Continental GT3, and, like, was feeding it, like, and it was, like, tweeting about feeding it, like, warm water and coffee and, like, food. Brought it home with, gave it a nice warm home and welcome, and I believe just, the sort of bit sort of carried over into ACC. So here we are with Eric Gregus going wide into the sand.
Whoa. That's definitely an invalid lap for Eric Gregus now. But I mean, hey, it's just nice to see a Bentley.
It really is. And I know a few viewers will be super happy to see it, and I know there's going to be a lot of people rooting for it. As we'll take a look at Palu Kai, who found that Hot Wheels in the parking lot, and is finding some time on the track as well. 4/10 up at the moment, coming into Pujon. We'll see if that keeps up.
Now, Pujon, apparently recently it had a name change.
Really?
Yeah, apparently, like, I'm just parroting what I've been told. It could be wrong, and I could have been fooled, but apparently it's called the double gauche now.
Double gauche.
Basically means double left, apparently. So,
because I know Pujon,
Pujon.
Because Pujon is, like, to spit out, I believe. It's like, so, I I don't know. I'll still call it Puhan because it's
Same. Like it's iconic. It's an iconic name.
either way. We have Polu Kai still improving on their lap time, however, just up only 2/10 after being up 4/10. So lost a bit of time there in those few corners, left-right corners. Very easy to do on that second sector. However, coming into the chicane, the bus stop chicane, we'll see if he's able to get on the brakes even later and get a better exit out of here. We'll see what it is, and we'll see if it's enough to grab the pole position. Might not be, in fact. It's going to be a big loss coming out of the bus stop chicane, and that's only going to be a 2:18.060, so not enough to improve on their best lap time. Meanwhile, we have Reisuke Kyoso also improving.
Asuka seems like he's very much in tune with the track right now. Already 3/10 up, above Emilia Anderson, but it seems like he still wants to improve that time even more, extend that gap a little bit.
And make no mistake, Emilia Anderson is definitely one of the fastest drivers in the grid, and not only just in Vtracc, but in the track community as well. So it's super impressive to see Reisuke Kyoso just come into his own and have some amazing pace here.
Yeah, as you said, when you see Emilia in your rear view, it's kind of scary. Because we both raced against Emilia. I used to be a lot slower, and I have seen Emilia in my rear view sometimes, whether it's from an incident or had she just come out the pits or something, and it's just scary to see the amount of pace, like the pace difference that Emilia will have as you get out. Because from what I've seen, Emilia has very good corner exits.
I might have to interrupt you there. Reisuke Kyoso has posted a flat 17-second lap. What a lap!
Reisuke is on fire today. If anyone's going to be doing a 2:16 right now, I think it's going to be him. There's still 3 minutes, so it could happen. But it's going to require a perfect execution from Reisuke.
Looks like the top 5, other than Reisuke Kyoso, is on their outlap, so they definitely have a bit of time to sort of try and top Reisuke Kyoso coming into the end of the qualifying session here. As you said, only 3 minutes left to do it, so they're going to have to make it quick. And Millie Anderson, as Akito Suzugawa, and Polu Kai. Polu Kai definitely needs this result to finish ahead of Mirai United VTuber Racing Team, because at the moment, they are absolutely dominating the head of the top of the table.
The team standings right now is actually very close. So all 3 of these teams, Technoverse, Yukai, and Mirai United, they're all fighting for 3rd place. And Mirai have a lot of work ahead of them because they are the ones with the least points out of that 3-way battle for 3rd in the standings.
So here we go, Emilia gonna start her flying lap here. We'll see if it's gonna be enough to top Reisuke Kyoso and to sort of further cement Mirai United VTuber Racing Team at the head of the field. Polu Kai as well starting on his flying lap, so we'll see if he has anything to say for it. We'll take a look at Polu Kai first in the number 43 McLaren. Oh my goodness! Oh, what a huge wreck! I don't think that's
huge. That's onto the track. Oh no!
I don't think that's going to be enough time for him to make another lap, so that's their qualifying session over.
That's Polu's race, just qualifying just done and dusted right there. Very sad to see. I think I saw him cutting ready, and I think that might have gotten the car unsettled and just sent it straight off.
So Yukai Racing already on the back foot coming into the start of the race. So now Emilia Anderson is just really trying to sort of improve on her lap time and maybe sort of topple Reisuke Kyoso at the top of the field. We'll see if she has enough. Maybe, who knows? This is one of her stronger tracks, but Reisuke Kyoso is just on another level today.
Emilia going through P1. Seems like a very solid line so far.
It's very good, but still not improving on her best lap time. It's very close. So whatever Reisuke Kyoso was doing for his qualifying lap, it was pretty insane. A lot of pace on that 720S.
Yeah. there's just not much to say. That thing has immense grip around some corners. So even if this track is mostly favored by the 296 because of its stability, the 720s can give it a good run for its money given the right driver, and it seems like Reska is the right driver for this, as qualifying timer has run out.
Looks like my timing screen is not really showing a delta at the moment for Emilia, so we'll see what Emilia has to offer here coming out of the bus stop chicane. We'll see if it's enough to topple Rizka Kyoso and grab that first spot on the grid for herself. We'll see what it is. It is a 2:17.902, so my timing screen was correct. She was able to match her lap, but it's not enough.
Seems like it's gonna be down to just race pace that's gonna be determining whether if anyone's gonna be able to touch Reska.
So at the moment, everybody in the pits, and Ryoma Kirihara and Amethysta are both on invalid laps, so the only driver on a flyer at the moment is Cody Lionheart. Cody Lionheart at the moment in 10th position with a 2:20.882, so we'll see how many positions he can climb with this lap.
Bus stop seems like he's a bit wide though. Seems like a good exit, and he goes down.
This might be enough to jump Amethysta. Yes, it is enough to jump Amethysta in the standings. So Cody Lionheart will start 9th, but your pole sitter for today's race is Reisuka Kyoso. What a lap!
Seems like we're gonna have some decent battles up and down the grid. Just looking at those qualifying times, we have obviously the fight between the top 4 that's going to be happening, and also looks like from P7 to P9, P10, yeah, P10. Seems like also it's going to be decently close fight, hopefully.
We'll hope
so
here.
We have some decent of action.
So here we go. Oh, somebody has actually left the grid. I'm not sure who it was. However, I was about to say, we have 17 drivers here ready to get started here for the final round of the Vtracc challenge as we wait for the qualifying session to sort of go over and end. It looks like Amethysta. No, wait. Somebody actually left. I'm not sure who it is, but I'm sure they will be back in a bit. Looks like Amethysta. Oh, we're waiting on Amethysta VTuber.
I think it was Jordan. Oh no, Jordan's here. Never mind. I have no idea who left.
Either way, we are about to get underway with the race here today at Spa-Francorchamps. So let's talk about race pace, as it's pretty important. However, will it be enough to sort of challenge the 720S at any point? Because we've seen Reisuka Kyoso just have insane pace, and I mean, having racecraft is one thing, but you can't, like, I mean, nearly a whole second is still a whole second.
True. But it's going to be coming down to if Reska can keep it clean, and I think he will. I think he's a pretty seasoned sim racer so far, so I think he could probably take this pole to flag, assuming no mistakes happen.
So now, as we get underway with the race, somebody else is back.
And it was Kaiser that disconnected. Kaiser. He just came back, but he's P17 now, so he's gonna have to start all the way from the back of the grid.
Very unfortunate for the Technoburst Racing driver, having to lose that lap now, so gonna have to be starting all the way from back and having to claw their way through the field, because we know that Seiko Kaiser is a very fast driver, but their sort of his aggression is going to be on show today, and it's definitely going to help him with the race today. So once again, going over your qualifying results, Reisuka Kyoso is on the pole with Amelia Anderson starting alongside him in the Mirai United VTuber Racing Team 296. Right behind her is Akito Asuzugawa and Paulu Kai, who will be heading the field for Yukai Racing and will need to be ahead of all three Mirai United VTuber racing team drivers in order to have a chance at third in the team standings. Moritz up in 5th, Jordan Brunch in 6th, Ryoma Kirihara in 7th, Cody Lionheart in 8th, Amethyst the VTuber in 9th, Blanc Ryuzaki in 10th, Isaac Umbras in 11th, Aether Yuki in 12th, Iometric Zanes in 13th, Eric Gregus in the Boatley, the Big Ben Boatley in 14th, 15th is Ryuma Tateyama, 16th is Kizeta, and as we stated before, Psycho Kaisa having to start in the back of the field right behind his own teammate due to some sort of hardware failure there.
As we get ready to go underway for the formation lap.
So one interesting thing to note here is that we start on the other side of the circuit here, so after La Source. So going double file into Eau Rouge and Radeon. That's definitely going to be interesting. Hopefully no carnage there. We didn't see any at in Tracc.GT, I believe, or at least where I was. There was definitely carnage after when I was involved in. But, yeah. We'll see if it's any different here today.
Was first.
Yeah.
Your incident was actually the first incident of the race, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, we actually made it through with 26 cars with no issues. So, proud of us on that. And I'm sure that the Vtracc grid will also make it through Rouge and Radeon pretty cleanly, because it's mostly the same grid from TGT to here.
So the track conditions, track is now optimum, so for sure gonna get some fast laps here already when we start out. Track conditions 26 degrees ambient and 35 degrees track, so definitely those tires are gonna be in for a huge workout. Especially
drivers, you won't have to be worrying about dropping pressures.
Speaking about pressures, it's very important to get a much higher pressure here than usual. Usually you're around sort of the 26 to the 27 PSI range. But here, personally, I like to see I like to see my tires have a bit, I like to have my tires a bit harder than usual so that it can sort of withstand the high-speed corners here. Definitely not a high-speed corners here.
Yeah, I also like to just run the BMW myself, just on a higher pressure in general. Seems to like work better that way. But yeah, at Spa especially, you want a bit more higher pressure because of the high-speed nature of the track.
So here we go. I think this is for the rest. So first place, both in drivers and teams, is locked in. So everybody else is just fighting to be the best of the rest. But there is still one more round that is yet to be contested here, and without Lucas Lichten in the grid, it could be anybody's game. But at the moment, as we've seen from qualifying, it looks like Reisca Kyosa might have a good chance. However, we never know until the green flag drops, as we've seen multiple times here this season in the Vtracc Challenge.
I feel like there's gonna be a chance that Emilia could maybe get Reisca at the start, because her starts can be pretty good. But I think throughout the race, Reisca might just start inching away on race pace. So
another thing to look out for is Psycho Kaisa. How much will he sort of do to climb up the field and maybe try and get another podium? It might be too far away in such a long track with only an hour to sort of do it all, but you never know. Especially with Psycho Kaisa's sort of ability to race others and just sort of push others out the way. Not really push others out the way, that's a bit mean to him, but maybe sort of just a very aggressive driver. Aggressive in the good way.
Yeah, he knows where to find a gap, and if the gap is not there, find a way to make a gap, whether it's pressuring the front car to make a mistake or a dummy play. Like, Psycho knows how to move up the field when he's in a bad spot, so I'm sure he's gonna be on a good charge today across the whole hour of the Vtracc finale.
Another dark horse I think we should take a look at is Ryoma Kirihara. We'll see how Ryoma Kirihara sets on here today as we get ready for the 8th round of the Vtracc Challenge here, the Belgian V-Prix and the final round of the Season 0. About to get underway here as we see Ryuma Tatsuyama maybe overshoot their grid or... Oh my goodness! Akito Suzugawa spun!
Oh, whoa.
Akito's gonna have to get ready.
Aki has to speed back up to his slot.
Thankfully, we do not start here.
Yeah, thankfully we start on the downhill.
I nearly forgot myself as they have to make the right-hand turn around La Source. So Akito Suzugawa is able to sort of get back in his usual spot. And oh my god, a huge relief. Either way.
Might want to drink some water.
Either way, here we go. Just going down into the endurance side of the starting line here. Amelia Anderson a bit too far behind. Now just getting alongside Reisuke Kyoso. We'll see what turns out, what happens here coming into Air Rouge as we wait for the green flag to come out. Any moment, Reisuke Kyoso just on the brakes, dragging them. Saying just 70 kilometers, and green flag is out. Reisuke Kyoso has a good jump on Amelia Anderson. Looks like Palu Kai is right behind both Mirai United cars as they slot into line here as Moritz Pickup and Jordan Brunch do get together there. However, no drama coming out of Radion. Looks like Ryuma Tatsuyama has lost a few positions already, but so far so good. Actually, we have drama here. Cody Lionheart, huge incident. Oh my goodness.
Everybody managing to avoid Cody. Whoa.
We'll see what happened there.
Nobody took him.
3 wide, Cody Lionheart just going for the gap that wasn't there. Gets into the quarter panel of Jordan Brunch and just clobbers that inside Armco barrier. Just a huge crash for Cody Lionheart. That's definitely going to put him out of contention for the race as you see him there at Lake Combs just struggling with the car. We'll take a look back at the lead of the race as Reisuke Kyoso now has to fend off a hard charging Amelia Anderson. Amelia coming to the inside, coming into Pujon. However, is not able to make the move here. Actually, yes, still sticks to the inside. Never mind me. Reisuke Kyoso, however, still manages to keep the top position. Meanwhile, Palu Kai is right behind Moritz Hiccup, so Palu Kai is on the back foot already. Already sort of losing time to the Mirai United VTuber Racing Team drivers up in front in the podium positions. And it's getting challenged by one of the people that I sort of said it was a dark horse, Ryuma Tatsuyama, already up to 6th position, I believe.
Kirihara. That was.
Yes, that is Ryuma Kirihara. I believe Ryuma. I think I'm getting Ryuma Tatsuyama and Ryuma Kirihara getting together. But
getting a bit confused, yeah.
I think they both have the same name, but either way, we'll take a look back at Amelia Anderson and Reisuke Kyoso. Reisuke Kyoso still holding on to that first position, if only just about, as Palu Kai is side by side with Moritz Hiccup at the bus stop chicane. Nothing doing there though, as Moritz is able to sort of hold on to that 4th spot.
Yeah, Moritz is once again showing that even with the old 720s, you can do.
Ooh, Palu Kai!
As Palu looks up the inside.
Palu Kai was really nipping at that 4th position. That was really close. Was able to make that space work. However, they're side by side coming into Air Rouge. Well, one of them back out. Looks like Palu Kai will. And Palu Kai will have to just slot behind and just get the draft coming into Lake Combs on this big straight.
It's a bit of a gamble to go too wide on race speed through Origin Radiant, so smart play by Polo to just back out and try again on a different corner that's not going to be as risky as those two.
And looks like Palu Kai is able to gain a bit of ground into Lake Combs on Moritz Hiccup. But it looks like Ryuma Kirihara and Jordan Brunch are following right behind. Kirihara able to sort of just stay on the back of that Yukai Racing 720S, a debut for this season, and making a great debut season so far. As Cody Lionheart is in the pits having to repair that damage, I'm not going to be surprised if he retires that car. That car was absolutely toast.
I'm mostly just shocked that nobody got collected as that Ferrari turned into a fidget spinner. I think Mentrix got it very close.
Yeah,
Just barely braked enough to avoid that car.
Great job by everybody to sort of avoid that carnage and avoid making it even worse. As you said, that car just turned into a fidget spinner mid-race. I haven't heard of fidget spinners in a while, so that definitely took me back a few years as Palukai goes a bit wide.
Yeah, if you ever need like a flashback to 2016, I'm your guy.
Either way, the gap has sort of strung out for now. Meanwhile, we'll take a look at Blanc Ryuzaki battling Amethysta for that 8th position there. Amethysta made up position there, I believe, because of Cody Lionheart's big incident there. Blanc Ryuzaki looking to the inside into the bus stop chicane as Reisuke Kyoso sets the fastest lap of the race. So already continuing on that form as Imetric Zanes in the background has completely overshot the bus stop. And it will give Isaac Armbruster and Aether Yuki a free position there as a result.
As we keep looking at the fight. Ooh.
And it looks like Aether Yuki is still side by side Imetric Zanes. However, Imetric Zanes might have to just slot in behind the Yukai Racing driver here. The Yukai Racing driver in 11th. So actually going to go side by side here.
Oh, they're going to go side by side.
Ooh, good by both drivers to not get together and not make any trouble here as both drivers come clean out of that turn, and Imetric Zane's able to take the position back, so good driving by him. As we'll take a look back at Palukai, still on the back of that older 720S.
Martic once again showing what he can do with that old 720S, because he's familiar with that car. He's been using it for a long time. So, I have no doubt it's going to be a tough ask for Polo to get past Mars, because Mars is not an easy person to also just make a pass on in general. So, let's see what's going to be happening here.
Mars took up another one of the better defensive drivers in the series, so it's definitely going to be a good watch to see Palukai try anything to get past that number 34 dark matte gray McLaren with the dragon on the side. Hiccup. Probably due to more Hiccup, the Hiccup the Dragon sort of thing. At least I'm sort of guessing here, as looks like Emily Anderson has lost a lot of ground on Reisuke Kyoso. So Reisuke Kyoso is just flying at the moment. Speaking about dragons.
He's flying like one, that's for sure. Maybe he's got some of that alien tech in that 720S that we don't know. We might have to check that car post-race.
Definitely, we definitely might have to. As the gap sort of, the gap's drinking out both in this battle and at the head of the field. So Millie Anderson has her work cut out for her. Meanwhile, right here you can see Orioma Kirihara and Jordan Brunch just behind these two drivers here, just trying to sort of make anything happen. As just behind them, we have a bit of a gap battle here. The gap sort of shrunk between Amethysta VTuber, Blanc Ryuzaki, and Isaac Armbruster. Isaac Armbruster was able to gain a bit of ground in the start here.
Speaking of old cars from before, Isaac also another driver of one of the two old cars here, and he's been very fast, surprisingly fast even, in that old Mercedes, despite its very, very large shortcomings.
Blanc Ryuzaki bounced off the inside curb coming up into Radeon, but it didn't seem to upset the car at all. He's still going. He's still slipstreaming off Amethysta. Amethysta, they have to sort of try and break the toe. However, Blanc Ryuzaki is still there in that big sniffa BMW. Blani just trying anything.
Yeah, the BMW is somewhat understeery through Spa for some reason. It doesn't seem to matter what kind of setup you make on it, but yeah, so that's one of the issues that Blonde's probably dealing with right now, is just how hard it is to rotate the BMW around the track.
Meanwhile, in the far side of your picture, you can see Psycho Kaiza in the Technoburst Aston Martin gaining ground already in 11th place, about to catch this group if this group doesn't get themselves sorted out.
So it looks on the other battles, we didn't even realize Psycho is already up to P11.
Psycho Kaiza already making a few positions, taking names in that 42 car.
Sorry.
As we have a bit of a moment here with Ivano. But,
Yeah, my mouse cable caught my microphone cable, kind of pulled it down.
either way, we have Blonny actually gaining some ground here on Amethysta. Into Blanchimont, I believe it is. Yes, it is. Blanchimont, that fast left-hander.
Yep.
Now into the bus stop chicane. Blanc Ryuzaki not really having much of a braking advantage compared to Amethysta. Amethysta just better on the brakes coming into the bus stop chicane, as you see Jordan Brunch coming into the pits, probably with that damage from the early incident between him and Cody Lionheart, so definitely a good idea to take your pit stop early here. But that battling has actually let Isaac Umbras gain a bit of time. I'm not sure if Isaac Umbras is just faster on this part of the track than these two are on the other half of the track. But Isaac Umbras definitely gaining some ground on Blonny. Blonny's going to have another thing to worry about here, as Blonny's been sort of climbing that curb on the inside of Radion, between Radion and Air Rouge. Pretty interesting there.
The BMW suspension is good enough that you can just take that curve without much issues. So Blonny's probably taking it just because the car can take it.
Meanwhile, we'll take a look back at this battle for fourth position. Polu Kai probably losing a lot of time, having to sit behind Moritz Hiccup, or maybe Moritz Hiccup's just keeping the pace up. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see who comes out on top here. But so far, Moritz Hiccup commanding that fourth position so far. However, Polu Kai probably just so frustrated because he is losing handfuls of time to the podium spots here. About, I want to say, like 4.5 seconds to third place, Akito Asuzagawa. So that sort of third place, that sort of ground that he's been that you need to gain on Mirai United in the team standings, just not really happening here.
Yeah, right now Mirai have a very good chance to steal that third spot in the team stand, kind of with both drivers on the podium. As Moritz is getting attacked by Polu Kai right now.
Oh, Polu Kai into Blanchimont, goes into the grass. It's very close. Nearly had some contact there. Polu Kai definitely very, very desperate to get around this older 720S. Now to the bus stop, onto the outside, coming into the corner. It looks like it might not benefit Polu Kai. So Polu Kai once again just has to slot in behind Moritz Hiccup. And Moritz Hiccup coming across the line. Another lap being in fourth position, and another lap of holding up Polu Kai. So Polu Kai definitely trying anything that they can to get around that 720S, but that 720S just ahead of them is as wide as a tank. Meanwhile, sorry to interrupt, we have a battle here. It's a Bentley versus McLaren battle here at the back of the field. Eric Gregus and Imenchik Zanes. The Bentley, everybody cheer on for the Bentley because the Bentley is coming. As we have a yellow flag.
Oh! Do we have contact?
It's between Key Zeta and Ryuma Tateyama. What's happened here? Ryuma Tateyama might have gotten into Key Zeta. Yeah, looks like a big tap there.
Just a bit too late on the brakes. The BMW does not have the best brakes, so you kind of have to be careful, especially if you're following someone into the bus stop. As you look back at Eric Gregus and Mentrix, the Bentley is kind of at a bit of a disadvantage going down the Camel Straight, as it does have very meh top speed, one could say. Most of the car's advantages is around corners and out of corners.
Come on,
straight line
come on, lost. Big Ben, you can pass this McLaren. You can show.
Yeah, come on, Big Ben.
Big Ben showing who's boss of the GT3 world. McLarens haven't dominated completely yet, as Gregus is just trying his best to hang on to the back of iMetric Zanes. Meanwhile, we'll take a look at Psycho Kaiser, who has been just clawing his way back up the field, right behind Isaac Umbras. Actually has caught up to this little battle here, this little train.
Now he's going to be trying to find any ways to just squeeze past.
And looks like we have a disconnect. I believe that is Key Zeta who has disconnected, so unfortunately for him, he is not going to be competing anymore, I believe, either whether that was a disconnect or not.
That's a sour end to his season. and now we're down to 16 cars for this finale as Psycho Kaiser's hailing Isaac's Mercedes around Blanchimont.
Whether that was a retirement or a disconnect, that is not going to help Technoburst in their standings, as a big dive nearly gets to the back of Blanc Ryuzaki as well, but is able to get himself stopped in time.
Almost unable to stop the Aston there as Psycho makes a very big lunge.
That is
but Isaac's is not done yet. He's still there on the back of that Aston.
That's a psychopath we know. Just a huge braking maneuver there to sort of gain any time he can. Now he has to get to work on Blanc Ryuzaki. He definitely has the pace to get around Blanc Ryuzaki, but we're going to have to see if if he's able to pull another move like that again.
The pace difference there, I feel like he will. I think it's going to be happening right now, actually, because... Actually, no, the gap's just too big. Surely he's not going to send it.
Gap's just a little too big, but definitely going to gain a lot under braking here into Lake Holmes. As we see, Polu Kai has caught up again to Moritz Hiccup. I believe Polu Kai has actually made a little mistake and lost a little bit of ground on the number 34 car. However, getting right back up, so it's a battle between two different generations of McLaren here for 4th position. However, that 3rd place is so much further than before. I want to say, oh my goodness, six and a half seconds.
Yeah, and all this fighting is also allowing Kirihara to, I believe, catch up slowly but surely. I believe that gap was around 4 seconds. It's down to 3.4.
You can see
lower. Yeah, 3.1. That gap is coming down.
You see Kirihara there on the far side of your picture in the Aston Martin, the one of the 3 Aston Martins that started the race. As we have a yellow flag on the circuit, that is iMagic Zane's. However, you'll still stick to this battle here between Moritz Hiccup and Polu Kai. Moritz Hiccup defending the inside, and Polu Kai to take the outside again and coming into the bus stop chicane. We'll see if Polu Kai will be able to have a better exit coming out of here. It looks like he does, but he's going to be on the outside to come into La Source. Moritz Hiccup's going to cover the outside a little bit, maybe a little bit reactive, maybe not, maybe just taking his line there. But let's see Polu Kai making the big dive here. No, not yet. Doesn't feel like he has confidence in the braking. But Moritz Hiccup goes wide, exiting La Source, so that does give Polu Kai a little bit of an advantage here. But Ryoma Kirihara is catching.
Let's see, is Polu going to try to make it too wide? No, he's going to stick back.
He was too far back to make it go too wide, as Jordan Brunch fortunately has gone on drive-through, probably for track limits, so... And for that day, just for Jordan Brunch, has gotten really bad. As we have a car stopped on track, yes, that is Jordan Brunch.
That is Jordan Brunch himself, yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh, nearly contact there, and Polu Kai does a little half spin. Is able to gather the car back up, but just, oh my goodness. Just having to sort of fight for his life, having to get past that 34 car. But Moritz Hiccup just being an absolute wall there. Nowhere to get past.
It is also safe to mention that the old 720S is a lot more stable and I believe a little bit faster on a straight line than the 720S Evo. So it does have some advantage going for it compared to the new 720S Evo.
Meanwhile, Ryoma Kirihara is just rubbing their hands together, just loving seeing these two battle, because they might have a chance at 4th position, their highest finish of the season so far. It would be great to finish on a high note here.
Yeah, Kirihara just has... there's probably a popcorn, just about got a popcorn in that cockpit right now, just watching this from the front seat.
And we've seen these two get so close multiple times, so Kirihara... You know, probably banking on them having a little contact and having a little drama, just a little bit of spice, a little bit of beef to sort of spice it up. Meanwhile, looks like, oh my goodness, a huge kerfuffle here.
It's a five-car train.
Looks like Blanc Ryuzaki was able to get past Amethysta, and now Psycho Kaiser has to get past Amethysta as well. Here we go. Looks like, oh my goodness, and I believe that's Aether Yuki going wide there. So it's a big train of Blani, Amethysta, Psycho, Isaac, and Aether Yuki, as Psycho Kaiser is looking to go to the inside, making a psychopath move. No, not this time. We'll see if he's able to do it here, getting to the bus stop. not yet.
Just too far back. Just too far back. It's not
Oh, Blanc Ryosaki's gone wide.
Blan's off.
That's a lot of positions lost already. Look at how much time he's lost there.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good. As we said before, the BMW's brakes are not good going to the bus stop, and boy, might have just willed that into existence.
Not only has he lost 1 spot, but 4 spots. I mean, look at how many cars were in that train, how much position they gave up to sort of get back on the racetrack.
And Psycho now is chasing down Amethysta already. No time wasted as they head out of Radion. Both cars a little wide, but it's all fine. It seems like Psycho got the better exit of going down the Kimmel Straight.
I believe this might be too far. No, not yet.
No.
Meanwhile, we'll take a look back at Paul Kai and Moritz once again. These two battles, just the biggest battles in the grid yet. Between the two biggest storylines, Moritz going drifting there, and Paul Kai is able to sort of nip his nose into the inside. However, I mean, wrong delivery.
Still not enough.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the livery should be switched around at this point because Moritz looked like Ken Block there doing Gymkhana stuff.
Some proper Gymkhana stuff through Puan there. Somehow managing to keep the car straight and still ahead of Paul Kai. Just, I don't know how Moritz does it. Just, he's unfazed by pressure. That might have been like the first hint of actually feeling a bit of pressure and making a small mistake, but doesn't seem to have given him any disadvantage. I think he might actually be just showing off the Polo now.
Well, showing off or not, that's definitely gonna not be good for your rear tires, so we might see a bit more chances for Paul Kai to make his way past Moritz, but Moritz just holding on for dear life, clawing and like biting and sort of just having to sort of hang on like a cliffhanger for that 4th spot, almost like if it was first position. But for Moritz, you know, a great result so far already.
Moritz just absolutely on fire with his incredible defending as usual. Let's see, can he actually maybe keep this spot for the whole race? Or I don't know. I feel like right now, if I was Polo, I might just go into the pits right now. It's not going to be worth it.
Meanwhile, Psycho Kaiser has gotten around Amethysta VTuber, but we will stay on this battle as they go side by side, coming to Lake Holmes. Looks like Paul Kai might finally have the advantage here. However, he is still on the outside, and Moritz is on the inside, and Moritz cracks! He spins! That is the first time! Oh my goodness, and Paul Kai does as well!
So many spins, and Kirihara is now caught up to Moritz there. Oh boy.
Another guest joins in the commentary booth as Kirihara is able to make his pass. Oh no! Kirihara spins out as he contacts with Moritz. Oh my goodness. Just so much chaos already happening in the last sort of minute here. Just, oh my goodness. And Aether Yuki and Isaac Umbers has gotten around here and Lake Holmes too. Oh my goodness.
What's going on? Just a halfway point hits and everybody's now just all fired up to go.
We'll take a look here what happened here on the replay. And Aether Yuki just lost the rear end of that 720S and Isaac Umbers had nowhere to go. And Blanc Ryuzaki is able to just slot past without much drama. And it looks like Psycho Kaiser actually has lost that spot to Amethysta VTuber. So Amethysta just doing a great show here today. Psycho Kaiser definitely feeling the frustration though.
Yeah, Amethysta's very fast on Spa, despite everything that's happened so far, despite Psycho chasing them. So, if Psycho wants to get past Amethysta, it's going to be a bit of work. Once again.
Psychopath, as I said before, needs to make some psychopath moves to really move up the field, and he has done that, but there's still some drivers who will cling on to their position no matter what.
Down to Blanchimont, both cars look pretty good, by the way. Just gonna, we finally seem to have like a second of cooldown as Psycho looks up the inside, just letting Amethysta know that he's there.
As we have Ryoma Kirihara in the pits doing their mandatory stop, probably trying to fix the damage before they lose too much pace. That might be a long pit stop, though. They really sort of clatter that inside arm crow barrier, so we'll see how long, and we'll see how the gap is to Palu Kayama or Sickup after that, because they were actually on the tail end of that battle for quite a while until that happened.
As we keep looking at Psycho, and Psycho seems to have better run through Urban Radion these few laps, and it seems like he's got another good one right on the rear end of Amethysta, going down the Camel straight.
Just sort of jukes to the outside of Amethysta, gets hard and breaks into Lake Holmes, and this might be a pass around the inside. No, doesn't have enough grip to make it happen here, as Amethysta just goes back around, says, thank you very much, I'll take that spot back. But Psycho Kaiser is able to get the faster exit out of Lake Holmes into here, Brussels, I believe. Brussels, that double apex right-hander coming into no name now. Amethysta just doing a great job of hanging on to that, I believe, yes, that is 6th position. And Psycho Kaiser just probably so frustrated under that helmet. Just, what do I have to do to get Pat around this 296? But Amethysta doing a great job once again, just really, really hitting their marks here. As Psycho Kaiser has lost a bit of ground on that 296, sorry, 720S. I'm so used to the 720S around everywhere that I'm calling the Ferrari 720S. But either way, Psycho Kaiser has lost a little bit of pace, now coming into these more technical parts of the circuit. Now coming into the now going into this corner, into the high speed parts of Blanchimont, having to sort of, and then that big breaking point into the bus stop chicane. We'll see if Psycho Kaiser is able to make up ground under braking there, as he has a few times. But, oh my goodness, what a race so far, and a lot of even if not much has happened at the head of the field, once again, still your race leader and still the best lap of the race so far. It belongs to Rizka Kyoso, and Psycho Kaiser actually interrupt my own sort of little mental train of thought. Psycho Kaiser dives into the pits, so they will do their mandatory stop. But Rizka Kyoso at the head of the field, right behind Emilia Anderson and Akito Suzugawa. Palu Kai has made his way around Mord Sickup in 5th, Amethysta VTuber in 6th, Blancru Zaki in 7th, Aether Yuki in 8th, Psycho Kaiser in 9th, well, he is in the pit, so Eric Gregus will take 9th, and I believe Magic Zanes will take 10th at the moment. We'll see how it all pans out after these pit stop cycles, though.
As we look at Rizka Kyoso, our race leader for basically for the whole race now, basically been leading, hold the flag, has yet to done his mandatory pit stop, but so has pretty much almost everybody except for what's going to be 3 people once Psycho and Isaac are done pitting. Just the consistency of Rizka this race has been incredible. Apparently
Psycho Kaiser hit the wall coming into the pit, so we'll see how much that affects his pit time.
Yeah.
I'll take a look here. Right now when he stops, but yeah, it's very easy to do. I know that I remember that Enor actually did it last week coming into the pits. She hit the wall, outside the wall, pretty hard, but was able to still actually keep 2nd.
I mean, Enor is just shockingly fast. So yeah, I'm not surprised that she was still able to keep 2nd.
Meanwhile, you saw there at the back of your screen, Emilia Anderson holding down the 2nd. Not really much of a threat right behind Akito Suzugawa. Actually, Akito is going to now dive into the pits, so that might give Palu Kai a bit of a chance to sort of maybe make up ground on the podium positions. However, after that huge kerfuffle between them and Moritz Hiccup, yeah, I'm not sure.
It's going to require a lot of work.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of work cut out for the number 43 Yukai Racing driver. So, is it too little, too late? We're about to find out. Taking a look at Psycho Kaiser's pit delta, looks like it was actually a bit longer. I don't know if my timing screen is correct, but usually a pit stop is 30 seconds. Looks like he took 36 seconds. I'm gonna have to check what Akito does here, since Akito, I believe, doesn't have any damage, but we'll see if that...
Must have been Must have damaged suspension if he took an extra 6 seconds from that little bump on the wall there.
We'll see. Sometimes this timing and scoring sheet does lie to me a little bit. But Aether Yuki and Eric Grigus also in the pits. We'll take a look at the Bentley Big Ben for a few moments here just to appreciate his royal bigness.
We're totally not biased towards the Bentley.
Loving Big Ben. Great to see a Bentley here.
Big boy.
Very wide, very tall, very big, very round.
Very handsome.
Yes, a very handsome boy, indeed. You know, let's take a look back at Paul Kai in the 3rd position. Not a lot of battles going on here at the moment right now. But at the moment, just everybody in the pits. We'll take a look actually at everybody else coming out of the pits. Looks like everybody's actually just diving in. So, we'll see Akito, who has just come out, I believe. We'll take a look at his pit stop time, 32 seconds, so definitely some damage there to Psycho Kaizo's car, as we see Reisuke Kyoso dive in the pit, so that will give Emilia the lead temporarily. You'll see what Emilia has to offer here. But, yeah, at this point of the race, just gonna have to be down to strategy and see if people have played their cards right, pitting earlier or pitting later. As we sort of go over the halfway mark, Paul Kai dives in the pits as well. Moritz Hiccup elects not to. Last round, I believe, Moritz Hiccup took a lot of time not pitting, so we're going to see if he does the same here today.
Yeah, he pitted very late, so let's see if he's going to try to extend the tires on that 720S a little bit more again. As we see the Big Ben coming at the pits alongside, I believe that's Aether Yuki?
Yes, that is Aether Yuki. So Aether Yuki a lap down at the moment. However, I believe that will change once Emilia Anderson and Moritz Hiccup pit. Take a look here at Reisuke Kyoso in the pits at the moment. We'll keep it here. We'll see where Paul Kai is. Actually just entering into his pit box right about now, so it's still going to be a pretty big gap to 1st position.
Yep, that's the main issue with the Spa pits. Just very long. I think this is like the only track on the grid where instead of a 30-second penalty, you get a 90-second penalty.
As iMetric Zanes gets a stop go 30, that is the race ender, especially here at this pit, with this pit lane, as you said before.
That's not going to be good. Yeah, it's a very long. It's a long enough. It's a long enough pit lane that you get an SG. No, not SG. No, just a straight 90-second penalty because of the length instead of the usual 30-second you would get for not doing a mandatory pit stop. And it seems like Minjix now just got his as Paul Kai comes out the pits.
Paul Kai is now at the pits. We'll see how much of a gap he has between him and Akito Suzukawa. Ooh, that's a big gap. That's about 10 seconds, actually. So Paul Kai definitely lost a lot of time in that big battle between him and Moritz Hiccup. Just, especially the few kerfuffles they had as well. And the sort of little moments. Just actually 11 seconds now that it's sort of neutralized. So it's not looking too good for them right now in the number 43 car to get a podium here.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely still pull that gap back, but it's going to require immense focus from Polu to do that.
Looking at the best times at the moment, Akito Suzuki, well, actually, they are matched on best times, both with a 2:18.5. However, it's going to come down to consistency, as we have, I believe, another retirement. I'm not sure who it was. I believe it was Cody Lionheart who has disconnected. Might have been a retirement. Let's take a look at Aether Yuki and Isaac Umbras. After both of them have dived into the pits, now they are battling together. Aether Yuki with a huge dive and spins out at the entrance of Lake Holmes.
Again. And ooh, that's little tap on the wall there.
And that allows Eric Gregus to get around as well. So so already just a lot of ground lost there, and some damage after the pit stop. Not what you want. As Blanc Rizaki dives in the pits as well. We will take a look back here at Ithuyuki still, however.
Yeah, it seems like he just braked on the curb there. He probably just braked a bit too late. Tried to slow the car down, and might have just extended the braking to the curb. And when you brake on that curb, it's just game over. The car will just snap the rear, and you're in the wall. So I think that's probably what happened to Aether there. With how fast the car just kind of went around.
Meanwhile, still at the head of the field, three drivers, because Blani has actually dived into the pits, but 3 drivers so far have not pitted yet. That is Emily Anderson, Moritz Hiccup, and Amethyst the VTuber. All 3 of those are 1, 2, and 3 all together. That might change as Emily Anderson now dives into the pits, so we'll see how she ends up after everything. However, it might be not enough, as Reska Kyosa might comfortably just go ahead of her after she leaves the pit exit, because that pit lane is just so big. Such a long pit lane, because it spans not only the Grand Prix pits, but also the endurance pits as well. So that's about a huge delta. We can see here, like,
yeah, it's just not. That's why you have to be very careful around Spa, and that's kind of what I think separates the good from the great drivers around Spa, is that you can be careful, but you can also be careful and fast. And the great drivers are careful and fast around Spa, because as we just saw, if you get an SG30, it's kind of gonna be mostly a game over with how long the pits are.
And a drive-throughs, and you have to be careful not to get a drive-through as well, as Aether Yuki probably got a warning for that. As everybody knows, in ACC, 3 warnings above that, you get a drive-through, and a drive-through is basically a stop-go 30 on any other track, as we see here Aether Yuki gaining past Big Ben.
Yep, just...
Aether Yuki, oh my goodness, hold on to her.
Yeah, the McLaren is very, very snappy through Lacombe and Malmedy there.
Looks like A3Q will be able to sort of keep it clean this time around. So no big drama, and it looks like... Actually, Amelia Anderson is gonna... This is closer than I thought. Maybe not, actually. I thought that Amelia Anderson was gonna go right ahead of Riska Kyoso, but it looks like the gap's about the same. But good job from Amelia Anderson to keep it close. Actually, no, because the gap's just maybe a second less than before the pit stop, so Amelia Anderson definitely played something right there. However, it's going to take a big task to sort of match Riska Kyoso's pace, as Riska Kyoso just set a 2:18.0 that last lap, and nobody else is around that pace at the moment, so gonna have to definitely put her all into these final 23 minutes of the race.
Yeah, and Riska does have right now the advantage of tires that are properly warmed up right now, so that gap is probably going to extend a bit more than 2.5 seconds as you keep driving down.
However, Amelia Anderson does have a little bit of advantage with a little bit newer tires. However, I don't know if it's going to be enough to sort of make a big difference.
But it's about 2 laps of difference. It's not going to be too much that it's going to be giving Amelia an advantage, but I'm sure Amelia would be enjoying whatever advantage she can get right now, considering Greska's insane pace.
Greska just has been at the head of the field for the whole race, bar the pit cycles, but just untouchable at the moment, as Amelia Anderson has actually been keeping this gap has actually been keeping the gap to 2.5 seconds, so it might not be out of reach yet for her.
Seems like all Amelia needs is just that one little mistake from Reska, and it's gonna be P1 in the bag. As Amethysta is actually finally in the pits.
Yes, Amethysta is in the pits, just making a turn around into the endurance pit lane, So, gonna lose the lead there, unfortunately. However, it might be enough to sort of get ahead, finish ahead of a few other drivers.
At least Amethyst can say that they led a lap.
Amethyst is doing a great job so far.
Yeah, the improvement that Amethyst has had in terms of pace, like in the progress of this season and previous season as well, just very incredible stuff.
Taking a look back at the gap now, looks like the gap is actually sort of widened between Reisca Kyoso and Emilia Anderson. So Emilia has lost some ground there, and Reisca Kyoso is just still wringing the pace out of that 720S. Just what a great result for him right now, as he actually set the best lap of the race that last lap with a 2:17.557. So even if Emilia is giving it 110%, I'm not sure if she can catch Reisca Kyoso in that 720S. It's just hooked up at the moment.
Yeah, like he seems to be just in the zone.
We'll take a look at any further battles here. We have Eric Grekus and Big Ben. With Big Ben, maybe sort of might have a chance to get Aether Yuki here. However, Eric Grekus is half a second off of Aether Yuki's best, last lap time, so that might be the pace difference that might be enough to sort of let Yuki pull away. So, but at the moment, looking through the field, not many tiny gaps, so everything's been sort of, everything's just been calming down right now. We'll take a look at Psycho Kaiser, who is in 7th position after having to start way back in the field from 17th from that disconnect in qualifying. So 10 positions up from his starting position. However, he's probably not going to be very happy about it either way, because starting from that far back, especially when you've already qualified. I'm not sure where exactly he qualified. I don't quite remember before that disconnect.
I think it was around P5, so I think right in front of Kirihara. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that he did get a disconnect. I don't know what happened there, whether it was maybe a server issue or if it was just Psycho's internet going out. But either way, very unfortunate there for Psycho to lose connection right as qualifying ended as well. Like, it was right as qualifying ended.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate from the Techno Burst driver, and that's definitely gonna not help in the team standings, as well as Key Zeta, the other Techno Burst racing driver, has also retired after that incident with Ryoma Tateyama. So, we might see Mirai United just sort of steal the rest of the available spots on the team standings after the end of this race. We're going to have to see where the final line standings lie. However, at the moment, Psycho Kaiser in 7th. It is not the result he probably wanted coming into this race, as he posts a 2:20.055. As Albert George reminds me that he qualified P7, so this is exactly where he sort of actually qualified. But still, you do want a chance at the start of the race to actually make up positions, not lose like 10 of them.
10.
So
literally 10. So I mean, hey, he's back to where he started, if you could say that. You know, back to where he was supposed to start. That is.
Meanwhile, the last car in the top 10, Isaac Umbras in the older number 722 Mercedes AMG, about 6.5 seconds behind Blanc Ryuzaki 3 seconds behind Amethysta VTuber. Amethysta VTuber 8th position. I want to say 16 seconds behind Psycho Kaiser. Blanc Ryuzaki, after just that big train, actually you can see Blanc Ryuzaki actually making a bit of ground, so this might be something to keep an eye on as the final parts of the race tick down.
It's also nice to see Blanc Ryuzaki back in the car, back in the track there. I don't think they've been in the in races since the last two, I think.
Yeah, so it's always nice to see Blondie return. It's always nice. A lot of drivers actually made their return here. Emily Anderson is one of them. Blanc Ryuzaki, Key Zeta as well. Not sure who else, but have a few returning drivers, which is always very nice to see.
yeah, it's always nice to see these people who have been with Tracc for so long and they're like back racing again with us. You know, just for one more race, and hopefully even more races down the line. It's nice to drive with these guys. It's nice to just talk to them, have fun with them on the track and off the track. So it's nice to see them.
So getting about to have only 15 minutes left in the race, and the gaps are a little strung out at the moment. However, anything can happen, as we've seen throughout this season so far. Sometimes we've seen top drivers really miss their mark at times. Remember Monza, we had Lucas Lichten, who we thought for sure was going to dominate again, just really had a bad race, as well as we've seen a few leaders drop out. Like, we know that Akito had a few heartbreaking moments when he was in the lead as well, or in podium spots. So definitely not over yet. There's still a lot of the race to go. However, I wouldn't blame you if you thought that maybe Reisuke Kyoso would be going away with it with all at the end, because he is just absolutely dominant. What a drive from him.
I mean, I will say, as we both know, the race is not over until the flag, until you cross that white line. So we won't know what's gonna happen. Reisuke could just bin it on the last lap at the bus stop for all we know. So.
And we've seen McLarens get really loose at some parts of the track, especially at Lake Holmes and Pujon. So it definitely can happen. However, I don't think it might happen to Reisuke, because Reisuke probably has the best setup on that car out of the rest of the McLarens, because that car just looks insanely stable, and just, you know, it's like it's running on alien technology, to make a reference to Reisuke Kyoso.
Yeah, this is like the second alien joke we've made this race. I think we're pretty good on the satirical part of this commentary so far.
Hey, LMAO.
Hey, LMAO. You know, just, I wish I could just put like a green alien emoji somewhere on the screen or something, but we don't have the budget for that.
Yeah, we do not. So, right now we're just taking a look at this sort of battle starting to sort of form between Blanc Ryuzaki and Amethysta VTuber. Reisuke Kyoso has widened the gap a little bit to Emily Anderson, about 4 seconds now, so that gap definitely sort of, that gap becoming bigger and bigger as Reisuke Kyoso's last lap is still in the 17s, while Emily Anderson only could do a 2:18.5. I say only, as if Reisuke Kyoso, you know, 2:17 isn't there, but, maybe it isn't too dominant, but just at the moment, Reisuke Kyoso just able to sort of keep his nerve and keep that gap, you know, keep and manage it. Just very, takes a certain amount of skill, a certain amount of pace, and, you know, it isn't quite like we've seen with Lucas Lichten with the big gaps that he's had earlier this season, but, you know, it is a little bit reminiscent. As we can see, Kirihara is around.
Oh, right out of ready on there.
And that will give Psycho Kaiza a chance to get 6th.
Yep, Psycho is just flying past there.
We'll see what happened here. Coming into Eau Rouge and out of Radion. Oh, that's a big. Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, just got his right side, got the right side tires on the other side of the curb, which basically just bottoms the car out if you do that.
We've seen Blanc Ryuzaki do that a few times in this race, but what do you think makes that difference? Is it just that he got his whole he got that whole right side over it?
Yeah, it happens with pretty much every car, but the Aston is like a bit more stiff compared to the BMW. So when you get those right side tires over the curb there on the inside, it just on the drive up on Redding, because that's when the car just went straight. The bottom that just went straight. So when you get those right side tires off on the grass, it just bottoms the suspension out, and you're just a passenger basically going straight. All you can really do is just get off the gas and hope that gives the front enough grip for you to turn away from the wall.
If this were the newer spa layout, Ryoma Kirihara might have a bit of more space to not get damaged there, but unfortunately that's not the case, and they definitely got a bit of damage on that left rear hand of the car. Might be some aero damage.
Very heavy.
Yeah.
That was a very heavy hit. I wouldn't be surprised if there's suspension damage on that car.
Either way, this battle is forming definitely between Amethysta VTuber and Blanc Ryuzaki. We've seen these two battle before, so it's going to be round 2 for them.
And it's another case of a BMW chasing a Ferrari. Wonder where that's familiar from. Still not getting flashbacks to last week.
Here we go. Now sort of exiting the bus stop chicane. Looks like the gap has shrunk just a tiny bit more, and that 8th place is definitely within reach for the Mirai United VTuber Racing Team, the Elders driver for that team. They do have 2 separate teams, the Elders for Reska Kyoso and Blanc Ryuzaki, and the main team being, I believe, Akito Suzugawa and Amelia Anderson.
Yes, so it's actually, when you think about it, it's a Mirai podium. It's just a Mirai podium right there.
We'll see if the 4th Mirai United VTuber Racing Team driver can make a move here, make something interesting for us to watch here at home. Meanwhile, we have Ryoma Kirihara a bit closer now to Saiko Kaiza. However, we will keep on this battle. I will keep tabs on that 6th place at the moment, because Kirihara's actually been having some good pace at the moment. Just unfortunate for that mistake there. Right now, though, it looks like Blanc Ryuzaki goes a bit wide into Bruxelles, now into No Name. Looks like Amethysta is able to keep that gap, able to manage it, able to sort of hang on for now.
Yep, the BMW is, whilst it is under steer through spot, it's also pretty easy to get like a consistent lap time going down with the car. So Blanc is just now chugging away, just slowly inching closer to Amethysta's Ferrari right there. And Blanc can also take more risks compared to the Ferrari thanks to the car being front engine. So that gap has been coming down pretty nicely and steadily so far.
As you saw there, Blanc Ryuzaki was able to get on that curve while Amethysta avoided it completely. So definitely a difference between these two cars that you can see just evidently, that the BMW could just monster truck some of these curbs. Meanwhile, maybe the 296, maybe just a bit more sensitive to these changes, as Amethysta tries to sort of give me a counterpoint as they go over that big, like, tall curb at the left-hander at Blanchimont, as Blanc Ryuzaki maybe overshoots bus stop chicane a bit. So definitely this gap is going back and forth a little bit between these two.
Yeah, right now there's 2 disadvantages, as we mentioned before, that the BMW has. It's a bit understeer on spot, and it's also got the brakes are just not good for some of these slower corners like the bus stop.
Don't look now, but it looks like maybe Amelia Anderson might have a reply to Reska Kyoso. Amelia Anderson just posted her best lap of the race of a 2:17.782, and Reska Kyoso for the first time is in a 2:18, so it's not over yet. We're just gonna have to keep tabs on them.
As we look at Blanc trying to recover that gap once again, as Amelia is probably aware. Amelia is definitely aware that Amethysta, sorry. Amethysta is definitely aware that Blanc's just coming up on their Ferrari right now.
Looks like Amethysta had a little bit of mistake in that final corner, as Blani was able to sort of claw back that gap once again. So now it's game on. They are just like a handful of car lengths, but away from each other. Blani going a little bit wide at the exit of No Name, now into Buhon, or what was it called again, this new corner? Either way.
Well, it's supposed that we will still call it Buhon, even though apparently its new name is Double Gauche.
Double Gauche.
Or whatever. I don't speak Belgian.
Regardless, this battle is still raging on, not really mattering whether a corner is named one thing or another. Looks like these drivers don't seem to care, as they are only within a second of each other now. Probably the closest they've ever been before that mistake by Blani. We'll see if Blanc is able to get that car stopped in time, as they go through Blanchimont and then right into the bus stop chicane, which is not really a bus stop chicane anymore. But once again, we're not really gonna pay too much attention to the corner names. Yeah, as I see, Blondie actually went a little bit wide there, so might have lost maybe blood a little bit of time, but able to get. Yeah, is able to be a little bit better on the brakes, a little bit braver, and right now, now it's stuck on the back of that 296, but the 296 got a better exit coming out of the bus stop chicane, and that gap's just widening back up once more.
Once the 296 gets out of its little turbo lag zone on the lower revs, it just rockets off out of corner exits once it's finally on an optimal rev range.
Now going up Air Rouge and Radion into the Camel Straight. We'll see if the 296 is able to sort of stretch his legs here. 296 also very good at top speed. The BMW not so much. We'll see if that will be helped with the toe, however, as Blondie Ryuzaki looks to the inside. Blanc sort of sneaks back behind Amethysta. Amethysta made another error coming into Lake Holmes, and now Blondie just has to stick to the rear end of their car for the time being, not make any more mistakes, and just look for a moment to make the pass. Looks like, oh, Amethysta went a bit wide there.
Yeah, she might have just gone a bit early on throttle there when it should have been a bit more patient, because that 296 was nowhere close to the apex.
Here we go. Blondie is the closest he's ever been. Not able to make a move just yet, coming into Poucon Double Gauche, whatever you want to call it, as the pit window closes. Thankfully, everybody has already taken their mandatory pit stop, so no penalties there. No slap on the wrists to be given here. So we are all just set for the end with under 5 minutes to go. It's between Amethysta VTuber and Blanc Ryuzaki, as you've seen, for the 8th position, and maybe potentially, if Resta Kyoso just makes a tiny little mistake, we might see a battle for the lead happen. However, at the moment, Resta Kyoso still hanging on to that first spot position with a 3-second gap in hand, as Blondie is now right on the back of Amethysta.
As they go through Blanchimont now, the BMW is close, but I don't know if it's close enough for a dive bomb. Is Blonde gonna try it? Blonde looks up the inside, but it's just not close enough. Talks right back in as they head through the bus stop. Blonde needs a much better exit out of the bus stop. Not that good. Amethysta once again with a pretty solid exit out of the bus stop now. They head down to La Source. That gap is again extended just slightly there.
However, it's a bit closer than before, but looks like Amethysta will be pulling away, exiting La Source and coming into Air Rouge and Radion. We'll see how it ends up here. Blanc Ryuzaki probably won't be able to get as much toe as he did before the previous lap, so already on the back foot starting this lap out.
Yeah, it seems like Blanc had both a bad suboptimal bus stop and a suboptimal La Source, so gonna be once again playing catch up with the 296 of Amethysta.
But Amethysta is really weak on this corner. As you see there, Blanc Ryuzaki is able to get that gap back up, as Amethysta has to sort of gather it up a little bit there on the exit, coming to Bruxelles, getting that double apex. Oh, Blondie goes really wide there too.
Wide, maybe going for a very late apex there. Because you can kind of do that at that corner at, I believe it's No Name, right?
Yeah, but this isn't MotoGP. You can't take a Ducati line.
I mean, why not? It's a BMW, you can do whatever you want with it.
Meanwhile, we have a battle between Paulu Kai and Akito Suzugawa for the final spot on the podium. This just came out of nowhere. What happened to Akito? No matter, because we have a battle on our hands for the final spot on the podium. Once again, just this race is not over yet, and just out of nowhere. What a surprise.
Yeah, Paulu, his best lap so far is a 2:18.1. I believe his last lap was a 2:18.2, so he's definitely been just just put that car into high gear.
Meanwhile, Akito had a 2:21.8 that last lap, so what's happened there? My goodness.
might have just maybe gone wide, maybe had a little bit of a moment somewhere, because that doesn't seem like it's long enough for a spin. Definitely not a spin, otherwise that lap would have been much slower. So definitely some kind of a spin or like an off track, something like that. Probably what happened to Akira there, as Polo is just now inching closer and closer. He's in the slipstream, and so it's just going to be a matter of getting good exit.
We're now they're now in the very final moments of this season, and right now the final chance to get a podium spot is in the hands of Polu Kai. However, Akito Suzugawa is going to try and pull away because he feels like he has the faster car ahead of Polu Kai, but Polu Kai just been really insistent on these, just been really aggressive, really been optimistic, and that pays off, especially if you're confident in your car, and it's been paying off for Polu Kai at the moment as he is the closest he's ever been to a podium spot here. Goes over the curb at Blanchimont, now into the bus stop chicane, having to get on the brakes. Polu Kai actually broke really early there, and Akito braked really late. Akito going really wide. Oh my goodness!
I know it comes like, oh, that's not good. Polu's managed to avoid it, and Polu is on the podium spot. That was a very big mistake there from Akito there.
We're gonna have to take a look at what happened to Akito.
Yeah, he was he was on the grass there as well.
Now on board.
On
board Akito. Yeah, he brakes
way too late.
Yeah, that is super late. Not sure what's going on there with Akito, but Akito nearly has a T-bone collision with Polu Kai exiting the bus stop chicane. So, oh my goodness.
That might receive him a warning for from the stewards. They're just very dangerously moving across the track. But yeah, he has a drive-through already, actually.
Oh no, it goes from bad to worse for Akito. Actually, look at Akito's hood. It's broken. There's damage on that car.
Oh yeah, it's moving around a lot. Yeah, that's damage. He has damage.
So something has happened something's happened to that Ferrari as we're on the final lap. Reisuke Kyoso just able to keep that gap, just able to manage the gap. And Millie Anderson's just right there though. But Polu Kai in third position, and Akito Suzugawa with the drive-through. It goes from bad to worse for Akito, and unfortunately, that is not something that I've said for the first time. Just, oh my goodness.
Maybe that's why Aki was slow compared to Polu there. Maybe that's how Polu was able to catch up. Maybe Aki picked up that front end damage somewhere. Don't know where though.
Nevertheless, Reisuke Kyoso goes through the chicane for the final time, and with Emily Anderson just behind, it might not matter as he grabs his first win of the season and the final race of the season with a great win.
Yep, as we said, Reska gets the flag, and this time he'll get to keep it.
And Emily Anderson gets second place. Polu Kai actually had a moment here. It looks like, oh my goodness, we'll take a look at this battle here.
We have a final lap battle between a BMW and a
Ferrari. Oh my goodness! What is going on there?
They're side by side.
They're side by side. They're banging. They're touching. It's, oh my god! It's chaos here.
Neither of them want to give an inch as they go through turn 9 now.
They're side by side still. Blanc Ryuzaki might have the advantage here. Oh my goodness, Amethyst is gonna try it. Amethysta, oh my goodness, Amethysta might be heated right now because this is like the most aggressive I've ever seen them.
Blood almost touched as he rejoins the track now, going down to, oh god, what's going on? What is it with the last lap?
We're gonna have to take a look at the replay once this is over because, oh my goodness, Akito Suzugawa finishes in fourth and crosses the line. However, he gets an 80-second penalty for not serving that drive-through. Not much time to serve the drive-through anyways. Moritzik up in fifth. Psycho Kaiser might finish at sixth. But right now, we're just focused on this battle because it's just, oh.
Boy, this seems all too familiar to me. I was in the exact same situation last weekend. Just right on the back of a Ferrari going to the bus stop there.
Well, Blani just throw caution to the wind and it's brake really late. No,
it's not gonna be,
yeah, maybe, not sure. They are uber close though. Not quite
it's just not happening.
Amethysta
And
will take that 8th position. Blanc Ryuzaki will have to settle for 9th. Isaac
we're
Umbers
gonna
will
have to
finish in
see.
10th.
We're gonna have to see what happens for that, for the pass that Amethysta did do,
Ooh.
because that looked that did look a bit. That, that car was like half off the grass there, like half on the grass there. So I don't know if that's gonna be a warning or a penalty, or if it's just gonna be considered a racing incident.
We'll take a look here at the final laps of the race here between Amethysta and Blanc Ryuzaki.
Yeah, because there was like a second and a half between Amethysta and Blonde before Blonde was suddenly in front of Amethysta. So I think no, just very slow
Very
out
slow
of,
coming, yeah.
just probably just trying to avoid a track warning. Maybe they've already got 2 or 3 and trying to avoid a drive-through, and that's when Blonde gets it. Okay.
And oh my goodness.
They did touch. They did touch. Oh. Wonder what's again. I wonder what the steward's decision is gonna be here for this entire battle.
And look at this.
And then this like I don't know what to say. I mean, I guess just if gap car. What else can I really say about that? It just breaks very late.
Wow, that is a move and a half.
I mean, if gap car, as we just said.
Either way, we'll go back to live picture and just what a race for Racecut Kyoso. Amazing result for him today. He's definitely gonna celebrate that as he does as everybody gets together for the picture.
Yep, an amazing race by Rescup. Pure dominance there. And what an end to the season, can I just say? 2 massive battles to end the race. And just big battles all throughout the race, especially around the middle. It kind of cooled down for once around the 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go mark, and then it just suddenly picked up again in the last 5 minutes. Like, just insanity all throughout, and I loved every second of it. But what do you think, Ruby?
I think it was a great race so far. We had pretty much everything. We didn't have the big lead battle as we really want to every race, but we definitely did have some battles that are definitely pretty memorable as the server sort of cuts that celebration short. But congratulations to Riska Kyoso for the win, and that win might not really matter in the whole scheme of things as Team Iris just take that. Sorry for my hiccup there. As Team Iris take all the honors as well as the drivers championship, but you know, all due respect to every competitor here today, and just thank you everybody for putting on such a great show for all of us. Even if the entry list, even if the car count wasn't that big, we still were able to have some great races regardless.
Just amazing driving from everyone this season, despite all the problems with the racing, whether it's a small grid size or maybe server issues or some other miscellaneous issues that have happened along the way. Drivers have stuck with us, and we've stuck with them to give them the broadcast that they want, that the people want to watch. So we're very thankful to everyone who stuck it out this season, and we'll see you guys in January when Season 1, the official Season 1, will start. But during December, we will still have a lot of just one-off fun events, which maybe you viewers who are watching Tracc right now might be able to participate in as well. So don't forget to join the tracc.eu Discord, where we will host some nice, fun one-off events in December. Either way, thanks to everybody for coming by and watching this exciting Belgian V-Prix finale for Vtracc.
Thank you everybody for watching once again, and we'll see you next season. Goodbye for now.